Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's my Mr. JFL once again with the Why Play Gaming Review Show. Little gaming videos I do to enhance the Steam reviews that I leave on the Steam store for games that I own and buy. Today I am playing Rising Storm 2 Vietnam, or at least I think that's what it says on the top of the screen. For those of you who don't know what Rising Storm 2 is, it is the sequel to a confusing game called Red Orchestra 2 / Rising Storm. It was like a DLC standalone game type of thing. It's fairly cheap. If you've never played the first one, highly recommend going and picking it up. You can get it in a fairly big bundle. Like the Game of the Year edition is out there and it comes with all the content. Red Orchestra 2, Rising Storm 2 Vietnam is set in Vietnam, and we're going to get into some gameplay right now. I just do these little videos at the beginning of my videos to engage you, the viewer, and let you know what you're about to watch. I also am going to warn you that the videos go on for roughly 30 minutes, so I try to cover everything in 30 minutes and give you a concise idea of what the game is, how it works, how it plays, what stage it's at the moment. It did only just come out on the 30th of May and it is now the 9th of June, so we're about nearly a week over since its launch. Anyway, let's get into the main part of the game, so forgive me as I chop into the gameplay. Okay, so we're actually into the gameplay section of the video. This is Rising Storm 2. This is the main menu. As always with my reviews, I score them out of 10. They get merits depending on how well the menu systems work, how much the graphics are and such like that. There should be music playing. There normally is when you load up the menu. There's some classic Vietnam soundtracks. It seems to have stopped playing. I'm not too sure why. Probably because I was alt tabbed. But anyway, let's go over the main menus. So the menu is very, very simple. You have up in the top right hand corner the level that you are and whatever rank symbol goes with that level. In the bottom left we have some social media links that you can click on: Reddit, Twitter. They have a Discord which you can actually join, Facebook and YouTube and such, all the usual social jazz you would expect from a game. We have play online, tutorials, profile and stats, character customization, settings and credits. Credits is pretty much credit. Settings is your usual settings that you would expect from a game, your mouse and keyboard. I will point this out, this I believe is only on PC. I don't think it's on consoles. I know Killing Floor 2, which is made by the same people, went to PlayStation 4. Don't quote me on that. I think it was going to consoles. I'm not 100% sure. I may be making that shit up. But this at the moment is only on Steam, as far as I'm aware. So you have your gameplay controls, you have your player HUD settings, and you can set the blood and dismemberment, which I've got on full. Various different things that you can do in here. Video settings. Now I will point out something that's very, very interesting. The videos on the Steam store are shit. The quality of them is horrific. They do not do the game justice. I'm just going to point that out there. For some strange, I don't know who you've got to do your videos, but they didn't have them on the ultra settings because they look bad. And then I was playing my game, and I had a few people I was live streaming, and a few people watching me going, "My God, your game looks better than the Steam stores. How have you done that?" And I just opened up the video settings and showed off my settings to them. I have everything on ultra as possible. I can like bump it up to. So yeah, you want to set everything to ultra, but more importantly, they have post-processing styles, and when you first get the game, it is set to authentic. What you want to do is set it to enhanced. That gives you the best possible style of graphics in the game, and we'll go over that in the game because these all four have some cool trippy visual effects on the game, and I did like that. Most games don't really do that with their like visual effects. They just give you really good effects and that's it. These, like, there's the Woodstock experience, which is basically you're on LSD, you're on acid, and it's all trippy. The war movie effect, I didn't really see a difference between that enhanced and authentic. Just looks like Minecraft. Audio, I've been spoiled by Friday the 13th. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But basically, in Friday the 13th, they give you an option to mute copyrighted music and such, and that is pretty much a feature that I am now pushing in every game that I do. This comes with some very much basically it comes with copyrighted material. You have like I don't know the names of the songs. I wasn't born in the 60s or 80s or whenever the Vietnam was. But the music from that era is in the game, and it can basically get you into trouble. Other than that, this is by far one of the most realistic sounding games I've ever played. Key bindings, if you wish to, you can go through and change all that. You can even have it set to Red Orchestra 2 key bindings. So if you're a Red Orchestra 2 veteran, all the same keys are there. Now, character customization. If you bought the digital deluxe edition, you get a few hats basically. You get the camo Uscalef and other things and such. As you can see, there are level requirements to unlock new content for your character. So if you wanted to run around without a t-shirt on, you need to be like level 20. If you wanted to just run around in pants, you need to be like level 15 and such like that. There's various character customization, so it will keep you playing the game. Basically, there are unlockables to add to the replayability. Characters are fairly well detailed. You can change the look of him and such, his hair color. Show you the US soldier that I have. So I have my little US soldier here. I've changed his hair to ginger because, don't know if you noticed in the beginning of the video, I'm ginger. I've unlocked a fair amount of items for him. I did buy the digital deluxe edition. So yes. Fair amount of character customizations and such. It will keep you playing. I think the max level is 70. I haven't seen anything above 70. You also have roles. You can select pilot. There are vehicles in the game, so you can actually fly choppers and such. Profile and stats. I'm horrified to show you my stats. Yes, I have 87 kills and 275 deaths. I am rubbish at first person shooters. I cannot shoot. I just can't play Call of Duty, can't play Battlefield, which is why I don't do many first person shooter games. But you have a profile and stats page to keep track of everything, your wins and your losses. I mainly lose. And how many matches and overall your weapons and such and things like that. Classes, what classes you're good with, what weapons you're good with. And then I believe it has its own achievements built into the game, as well as the Steam achievements. I think they're linked to Steam achievements. Yes, they are. So it has Steam achievements, and there's 88 of them to unlock and such, if you so choose to go down that route. Play online, very simple menu, very much like the Red Orchestra 2 / Rising Storm menu. Servers are not matchmaking servers. They are actually hosted by the community and Tripwire themselves. I have a few favourites that I play on. You can see friends when they're connected. Should have actually loaded my favourites, but I have got 2 favourites favoured. Oh, okay. Recent. There we go. You get your recent games that you've been in. If you want to set up LAN parties and such, but let's go back to the main server list. Down here we have all your filters. Basically, if I click off, you can see When you click on a server, down here it will tell you who is in the server, what players, and what the server settings is. So theatre, Vietnam, server standard, their address, passwords, friendly fire if it's on, yes it's 100% on, campaign mode no, and is it VAC secured. If you want to filter for something specific, you can filter for custom and all. I just filtered for standard. You can set all these yourself and such and play about until you find a server that you like. So let's get into some actual gameplay then. Let us have a look at... Oh, seem to be missing some. Oh, server's full. Just see if my recent servers were on, because I did just play a game recently. It is. I didn't show you the tutorial there, sorry, on the main menu. Tutorial will basically teach you, it's like a free mode that you can go in, learn how to fly, learn how to shoot, play with all the different items and such that the game has to offer and things like that. So if you want to check that out, you can do. You can be a pilot. I will point out that the vehicles are level specific. They're not in every level, so it's not like Battlefield where most levels have vehicles or such. Some levels will only have and at the moment there is only helicopters. There's no tanks, there's no jeeps or like ground vehicles. There is only air vehicles. Also slightly worried why there's no music playing. So when you get into the game, sorry I skipped that screen there, every server has their own sort of intro page that tells you like their rules and such. The game is going to be very loud. When you get into the game there's two sides, so you can choose United States or the Vietnamese and such. So I'm going to go Vietnamese. You get to choose your class, so there are several classes to choose from, but they are limited. So if I wanted to be a sniper, I need to be really fast on the draw and get sniper. So I'm just going to stick as a rifleman at the moment. So that's down the left hand side. Then in the middle you can choose what variant of the gun you want. Now I didn't realise this till last night because I thought there was only one like basically gun, but there's not. There is more guns in the variant type. I think
we have taken Charlie
in each one. So if I go to no, so yeah. So let me go back to KM. Can't really change my equipment. So that's it for your loadout. So you do have loadouts. They're fairly limited to what you can do, but you can change them and such. On the right hand side we see who our commander is, and I can't show you the commander slot because I can't jump in, but basically the commander can call in artillery. He has a lot of he has little things that he can do. Down below him are squads, and it goes all the way up to 10 squads, so you can have 10 squads of 6 people. I'm going to jump in Charlie squad and join me. So I believe this game is Supremacy.
Scout,
basically, teams have to sort of fight over areas of the map. So I'm going to spawn and go to Delta. There is voice chat in the game. I'm not going to go over all the keys and such for you, but you have squad and team. So my squad leader's dead. Squad leaders basically get to call in artillery. They don't get to call them in, they get to mark them. So there's actually helicopters in this sound down slightly.
Shh. Attack on my mark.
There he is. Basically, the game modes are split into objectives. One game mode, which is what we are on at the moment, is called Supremacy. Get that
We are
bastard.
taking Delta. Entire defenses are retained.
Oh,
Bravo
shit.
is being attacked.
Sorry, I'm trying to like basically tell you about the game and stuff. So yeah, there's a few various game modes and such. Oh, I shouldn't have really tried to heal there. At the moment, I'm on Supremacy, where basically two teams spawn on different sides of the map. There are markers that they have to get to and capture, and there is a score point at the top. So if I go to, you will see, we have G, F, E and D. They have A, B and C. There's also numbers underneath them that will tell you how many people are in that zone. So we have 3 people in Delta. Oh, sorry, no, we've taken Alpha, Bravo, Charlie and Delta. They have Echo, Foxtrot and Golf. We have one person in A, 1 person in B, 2 people in Charlie, 3 people in Delta, and 2 people in Echo and Foxtrot. The way this game mode works, and the other game modes, is you need more people. So if I run to Bravo, you'll start to see more people, like the number going up basically. So the way it works is the more people you have in the zone, the more you can capture that zone. Oh shit. The other game modes are basically the same map, but you have 2 objectives, and then basically it's like attack and defend or rush on Battlefield. You have like A and B, and then if like one team takes both, the line moves back to like the C and D, and then you take that, and then the line moves back to like E and F, and then there's like G left, and then such, so on and so forth. Graphically, game is amazing. There's a few features that are missing from Red Orchestra 2. Namely, the cover system has changed slightly. When you crouch next to a wall, you can't peek around the wall like you can in Red Orchestra. Can't really do it on this map because it's a jungle map, but
Scout, report in.
yeah, basically, can't really like crouch up against a wall and look around the wall. Let's see what else I can show you. I was going to show you the special effects for the actual like visuals and such. I'm going to come out to this game in a minute as well, and we'll go into a different game and show you the other modes and such. So I'm at the back of the spawn here. I'll just show you this really quickly. So as I said to you before, if you go into your options, which is setting, visual, we have post-processing. So if I put it back to authentic, apply,
We are taking Echo.
you can see it's not really changed much on the screen. And again, YouTube's compression rate does limit the visual effects and such. So if I
We
look
have
at these
lost
trees,
Charlie. not really a
different, slightly a bit more crisper on my side. Don't know if it comes through on YouTube. But as we get to the other two settings, this is where the fun starts to happen. So warm. You can't see it on the screen, but there is like a grainier effect, like it's much darker.
Retreat,
And
so we
such.
can attack once more.
Oh look, who won? Oh no, we defeated. I'll leave that saved for a second, try and find. Yeah, that was Supremacy. Let's have a look. Join this one. Territories, this is the one. So basically this is like Rush for Battlefield, where you have like 2 points you have to hold and defend, and then they push you back and such. The difference is, I haven't played Battlefield for years, so I'm not 100% sure, but basically in Battlefield Bad Company you had like Gold Rush, where basically you had the 2 points, and if you lost 1 point you had to defend the other point, and if you lost that you fall back. On this it's slightly different. If you lose a point you can go back and capture it. Kind of want to go American at the moment, so there we go, American. I'm gonna go Radio Man.
The area is secure.
Ah. Next round. That was a good map and all. Everyone seemed to hate Hughes City, but
Swapping
I love
sides.
it. Oh, we're switching sides. I'm gonna go back to being American anyways. I'm gonna join. We're Bravo and so yeah, I'm going to change the settings from war to the Woodstock experience, and you will instantly see the difference. And you can instantly see the difference.
For a wee sesh, mate.
Mate, where are you from? Go on.
County Tyrone, Northern Ireland.
Mate, I'm from Northern Ireland as well, fuck yeah.
I'm
Class.
from Liverpool.
Ping pong.
Fucking
I
Liverpool.
voted for the DUP. Ha ha ha.
I didn't vote for anything. Ha ha ha.
Sure,
Ah,
Theresa
fuck.
May was in the IRA.
Jeremy
voted for
Corbyn's an IRA
Freeman.
supporter, that's why I voted Labour.
Oh, it's a bright flavour.
So yeah, as you can see, lovely chatty game as well. But this is the Woodstock experience, so if I stop still, it's very trippy.
When you're legitimately retarded,
LSD and
vote DUP.
such. If we go back to visual setting, put it back to enhance. Now I'm not too sure what the battle frequency says. This like critical chatter only, or battle chatter, minimal chatter. I'm not too sure what that sort of is, but yeah. So this is Hughes City. This is the game mode I was telling you about. Basically, the way this works is we capture 2 points,
out.
we push forward and such like that. There's the commander. Now I've gone Radio Man, so I get to see the commander's position. Now the idea of this is I'm supposed to stay near the commander, or fairly close to him, so that he can use me as a radio to call in support for the rest of the team.
Can we take fire?
And we're going to do that now.
Do you need any artillery at the moment? Any artillery, or are we okay? Hello, radio man.
Hello.
So he's going to use me basically. We won't get to see the menu.
How long you served this country, boy?
We won't get to see the menu. Sorry?
How long you served the country?
I've never served the country.
Ah, a freshman then.
He gets like a little menu and he basically gets options for artillery, recon, spooky ghost ships, which is like calling a C-130. And as you can see now, he's calling in the artillery. Can't see it, but he is calling it. He's actually called here, but
Jelmer, come here.
Using smokes, yeah.
Careful, hold on.
Push the right side.
Damale, this is Roswell Bravo 26. Have a target for the fast moving grid rep 845 3-974. Burn them for me, will you? Bravo 260.
so he's just called napalm now.
I have one inbound for you. 30 seconds out. Stay clear.
Basically on the map you'll see the flashing symbol for napalm. So if I pull back slightly somewhere to where it'll be safe to get down.
Push up, it's clear now, go go.
Go, 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 go. Go on
So
A.
being shot at.
Capture an objective soon, or we lose.
Oh, I ran out of bullets.
We are taking Bravo. We are taking Alpha.
Recon coming in, recon coming in.
So basically the way this game works to the other one is at the top of the screen you'll see there is a bar and it works on tickets basically and time. So one team has to basically defend a certain amount of time while the other team have to capture a objective. If they don't capture the objective in the time that they're given, then the other team immediately win. Or if the other team can manage to destroy all the tickets, they win. If a team manages to capture just one of the objectives, if one of the teams manages to capture just one of the objectives, they get more time basically. During games you can actually, like if you level up, you can customize your characters in the game. Same with, I believe, your role. You can go into your role and change what variants and such that you have, things like that. You can change all this sort of stuff and switch squads. And the server shut down. That's what happened. Fair enough. So that's pretty much it. Like there's a fair amount of maps and such. There isn't much to learn. The game is very basic. If you've played any of the other Rising Storm games, you'll definitely enjoy this game. If I go back and just show you tutorials, so you can watch videos on what to do, or you can actually just click on free play. Now, shooting range is pretty much what it says on the tin. You shoot all objects and play with all the guns. Helicopter range, I highly recommend it because it is very, very difficult to control the helicopters in this game. It takes a bit of time to master, but once you've done it, it's fairly simple. So we have two types of helicopters in this game. We have a combat pilot and a transport pilot. Now, combat pilots basically pilot the Apache chopper. So we'll start off with that at the moment. They don't get anything for their equipment wise, and their character customization is fairly basic. But you get to customize your helmets and such, but that's really about it. Let's join. So when the map starts, if you manage to, again, it's first come first serve on the slots in the game. If you manage to get a combat pilot slot, you will spawn a fair bit away from the actual battlefield on your own little air base. So this map is very similar to one of the maps that you will play in the game, but you won't actually be on the actual map. Don't want to go on the gun seat, I want to go on the pilot seat. Now, there is no third person in the game, basically. Everything is first person. The graphics for the pilot are amazing. The actual, everything inside here looks amazing. The altitude meter and such, even the speed gauge, I believe, works properly and such. You can see on the dashboard in front of me and on the screen, they both pretty much work identical. Again, it's personal preference on how realistic you want to take the game. If you wanted to turn the entire HUD off, you can. Obviously, if I had a co-pilot, he would be shooting the enemies below for me. Now, as a pilot, you get a few guns to play with, so you can actually fire them. And then your gunner on the front of your nose cannon basically gets a few guns for himself to fire and such. But that cannon just sounds awesome. There is a way to hover and land, but I can't remember how to do it, so I'm just going to crash and glitch through the map apparently. So what I'm going to do is change my role. Now I have to also point out the Vietnamese people get no they get an RPG class to shoot down helicopters, but they don't get any helicopters themselves to fight with. So I've gone a transport pilot, which is pretty much the same as what the combat pilot is. Combat pilots get to pilot an Apache chopper and I believe a Little Bird. I don't think I get to pilot this. No, because I'm not a combat pilot. So this is the Little Bird basically, and they get to pilot that. But transport pilots get to pilot these, I believe, which are the transports. Also, you get your own like little AI co-pilot as well. If you don't have a co-pilot, it will give you one, and then you basically get 2 lives in the game. So again, same again. You have to spool up, let the whole thing. See, if I let go of my mouse, you'll see the speedometer not thingy, not rising. Again, graphically the game is amazing, so that's going to pretty much do it for this. It is fairly good. Especially if you get a couple of friends together and you're all working as like a team, you know, landing, taking people in, dropping them off and such. The transport pilot as well cannot use any weapons, so you're relying on people in the back to sit on the gun positions to shoot for you and such. You're basically just, you know, to take people in and drop them off and such. Never noticed that. There's like a convoy of helicopters over there flying around.
Get your squad moving. Get out there. We're down. Go, go.
Ambient helicopters over there. Try and fly towards them.
Return to the combat area.
Ah, they're just part of the environment. Anyway, let me exit the main menu. There we go, the music's come back up now. So that has been Rising Storm 2. Give me a moment, I'm going to end the video here and then I will go back to the webcam and tell you my final thoughts and whether you should buy the game. So that was Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I try to do everything in 30 minutes if possible. I hope the video has pretty much covered everything that answers most of your questions. I will try to answer them now. Out of a score of 10, I'm going to give this a 8. Really high up there, 8 out of 10. There's not many maps, and I don't know if that's because it's early days and like Tripwire, typical Tripwire, they will add more maps in and they rely heavily on content. They have already released mod tools, so this game is moddable, like all the other Rising Storm and Red Orchestra games. There will probably be modded maps and mods for the game to beef up the content. So at the moment I couldn't tell you how many maps come with the game. I don't want to give you a ballpoint number because I don't know. I want to say 4 maps. I could be wrong, so I don't know how many maps come with the game. It's not many, but the game modes are very different. So where you're playing the same map, if you go on to Supremacy, that map feels completely different. Where if you go on to Skirmish, it is, you know, a completely different feel. The gameplay is solid. I mean, I spoke about, like, in Red Orchestra 2, the cover system was much better. If I went up to a wall, I could lean against the wall and peer around, shoot and stuff, and I could actually blind fire and stuff. That may come later on. I mean, it's early days. It did only just come out, like, 9 days ago. So we may see that come in an update later on. Graphically, the videos on the Steam store do not do it justice, and I don't know if my videos do it justice. It was amazing. It was truly graphically, and I don't know what you'd say for sound or how you describe the sound, but the sound was awesome. Like when napalm gets dropped in, I didn't really get to show you much in terms of airstrikes and recon drones and spooky gunships and helicopter pilots and stuff like that within 30 minutes. So I am sorry, I'm not giving the game as much justice as it deserves. If you are a big fan of Rising Storm or Red Orchestra 2, then you will be amazed at this game. It doesn't feel like a DLC. Some games that come out in game series feel like they could have been DLC for the previous game. A lot of the Saints Row games feel like they could have just been DLC and such, and like bolted on at the end and such. This doesn't feel like this. This feels like a fully flushed out game, based on Rising Storm. A lot of because I was very confused. That was one of the reasons I didn't want to buy the game, because I have Red Orchestra 2 Rising Storm Game of the Year edition, and that has Japanese and US soldiers fighting, but that's World War 2/1 era stuff. That's not Vietnam M16s, M60s and AKs and such, so it's completely different, but the gameplay is very much the same. So if you enjoyed that game, you'll enjoy this. Content, level 70, I'm only level 8. I think I'm going to be playing this a long time. All my friends have it, which was one of the reasons I bought into it, was because a large amount of my friends bought the game, so we all bought it together. We play regularly as a team. That last game there, you heard there was a bit of communication. I was a little bit shy in talking to people, but when you play with your friends, communication is key in winning. You have to talk to your squad leaders to mark your airdrops and such. So the voice chat is awesome. I'm not too sure what the settings for the voice chat are, because there's some settings where it's like minimalistic voice chat, so I'm guessing that means you'll only ever hear the commander as squad commander. I don't know. Yeah, 8 out of 10. Happy with the price I paid. Paid full price for the Digital Deluxe Edition. And do you need it? Probably not. It's only cosmetic stuff. But I wanted the soundtrack because I love Vietnam. Well, that era music and such. So for me, the Digital Deluxe with a few extra like items and such was pretty cool. You don't need it. You can actually unlock them in the game. I thought you couldn't. I thought they were just like a one-time. If you didn't pre-order it, if you didn't get the Digital Deluxe, they're not in the game. It turns out a friend of mine who actually doesn't have the Digital Deluxe edition can unlock them when he gets to that level. You just get them at an earlier stage. Definitely worth the price. Absolutely fun to play. Could do with a few more maps and variations. Weapons. Now, this is where the game slightly falls, which is why it hasn't got 10 out of 10. The reason I took a point away is the lack of customization to the weapons. Don't know if it may come in later down the road. I don't remember it being in Red Orchestra or Rising Storm 1. I know you could choose different weapons, but the actual customization of the weapons, putting scopes on, things that we would see in Battlefield and Call of Duty, it's pathetic. I know it's petty of me, but that is a little nitpick of mine, that there isn't much variety in weapon choice. But I will throw my hands up. Realistically, you didn't get a choice like that back then. It was basically, here's an M16, here's a helmet, here's a flak jacket, there's a Vietnamese soldier over there, go shoot them. So, you know, I understand why you don't have much in the way of customizing your character. You have a set role, you have a set job, so yeah, but a little bit of character customization in the weapon area would have been nice. The other point, which is why because I only took 2 points away from this, and what was the other point that I didn't give it for? Sound of music. It seems that although they have a large variety of music, it might just be me being pathetic about this, there only seems to be 2 tracks out of the soundtrack that play. I can't remember the names of the songs, but they only seem to play on the menu system. They don't really play in the game. I would have liked to have seen helicopters be able to play music from them. Flight of the Valkyries, or whatever the soundtracks that come with the game. playing that from the helicopter when you're in the helicopter would have just added that little bit of extra feeling to it. Could come in a future update, don't know. That wasn't actually why I didn't give it the 10 out of 10. The reason I didn't give it the 10 out of 10 was vehicles. We have helicopters. The maps aren't really suited to drive vehicles and such, but maybe if we got more vehicles in, then I would say it's worth a lot more. It's worth it as it is. Anyway, I've gone on far too long. I'm rambling. I'm just trying to get you to buy the game because it is amazing. My name's Mr. Jerville. As always, like, favourite and subscribe to this video. And if you didn't like what I had to say, you know where the thumbs down button is.